You are now tuned in to the Mile Highlighter.
To the Mile Highlighter. Welcome back to the Mile Highlighter. I'm Shetta B. I'm your host. And if you're listening to this, I want to thank you for continuing to listen to me. The last episode, I talked about the foundation of my business and how this all started. This episode, we're going to get into talking about reinvention, how I reinvented myself. Once I started my family and had my Irish twins, everything changed. My priorities changed. Time changed. Perspective changed. Once I had my two youngest kids back to back, working at corporate America just didn't make sense for me anymore. The math wasn't mathing. I'm working to pay for daycare. It just wasn't sitting right with me. I was fortunate enough to have someone that allowed me to tend to our two kids, and take care of the house while I was with them. I'm not a housewife. I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Nothing against it. I just have to be doing something. Like, my life, it revolves around my family, but it just does not just revolve around my family. That's just not me or realistic for me. So with staying home with my children, I ended up going back to school for cosmetology. I was already in the process of starting with photography, but I wasn't taking it serious. Again, that's when I was realizing I couldn't pour into my photography business like I wanted to while working a corporate job. And, my lifespan is like all over the place, but I feel like it still is in the realm of creatives. I've been doing hair since I was a kid. I've been taking pictures since I was a kid, but I never took pictures serious until 2015. Like, I probably have pictures of you in kindergarten, y'all. I used to always have a camera. So, and something that always pops in my head is my mom. When I used to take pictures in high school, she used to always be like, "Why don't you do pictures?" And I used to be like, "Girl, that ain't no job. That's a hobby. Like, that ain't gonna make me no money. That ain't gonna make me no money." And yeah, I put my foot in my mouth because here I am 20 years later, and that's my business. That's my moneymaker. But yeah, so instead of being a stay-at-home mom or just revolving my life around just kids and family, I decided to figure out what I can do while I had the time. And that was me going back to school for cosmetology. That was me picking up my camera, and when the kids were with their dad, I was out hustling and bustling, trying to get my name out there, taking pictures, doing hair, finding my new niche of work because I need to make money. I had responsibilities bigger than my dreams, but I still had a dream. And when you have those two things, it could be like a hard place, like a hard choice. Like, do I pursue my dream or do I tend to my responsibilities? And I was, again, blessed enough to be able to I won't say I had to put my responsibilities to the side, but I was able to be a little bit careless with my responsibilities and actually focus and hone in on my dreams. So within that, I picked up the camera, and like I said, I was outside. Y'all know, I was trying to get my name out, and Night Shutters Photography was born in 2015. Photography became like my go-to. It started becoming more about just taking the picture. I started learning more things with my camera. I started realizing I wanted a different camera. I started learning things with the lens. I started learning things with lights. My intentions just started growing more and more and more detailed into it. It allowed me to show up as a mother and still make money. And that's why I love my business. Um, and, you know, to be honest, building something while raising kids can be really hard. It requires sacrifice still, but it's a little bit more flexible. And that's why I appreciate Night Shutters Photography so much. But this this part of my life has been a very big learning lesson, and also a very a big game changer for me, because it actually makes me believe in myself a lot more. Like, you really could do whatever you want. You just got to do it. Um, by 2019, I took another leap of faith. I opened my own studio. Um, with opening my studio, I opened my studio up like 9 months after my dad passed. I'll say like that was like a very cloudy spot for me in 2019, but I was just burying myself in work. I can say like when my dad passed, I feel like that's when Night Shutters Photography popped off for me. Like, everything start going in motion for me. Because of, instead of me being like sad and just laying in pity or grieving, I don't know. My grief was work. I just buried myself in Night Shutters Photography. Like, how can I make this better? How can I make this better? Mind you, I still was very cautious. So when I went to look for studios, I was just like going to shop, just bullshitting, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go see. And I met a nice young man named Ben who gave me a chance, and I will always appreciate him because he actually gave me gems that I carry on within business. And I also pass around to people when they have questions about it. I was telling him no because he was trying to rent me out a space for $1,500, and I'm just like, I couldn't see me paying that and still having to pay, to stay with my bills at home. Like, that's just too fucking much. No. He handed me a lease, told me to read it over and come back the next day. And then when I came back the next day, he must have knew that I was going to tell him no, like, no, thank you. This is too much. Here, take this. I can't do it. He shows me another room that was a lot bigger, and then he actually offered it to me for a lot cheaper, and he gave me 3 months free, and he taught me some game. And from there, I've been up. Like, that happened 6-7 years ago, and I've had a studio since for 7 years. And thank you, Ben. That's all I can really say. Ben really put me on. So when I got the studio, it wasn't just a space, it was kind of a statement, saying like, I believe in myself. And thank you, Ben, for believing in me. It represented growth. It represented risk. It even represented my fear. But it most of all represented me overcoming my fear and actually seeing like, you can do this. Like, when things are presented or things are in my way, I'm gonna take care of it no matter what. And it was another bill, but it was a bill that was needed, and it paid for itself. It's always paid for itself. I've always believed that anything that you need or want or you're supposed to have comes easy. People be saying like, nothing comes easy. Yes, it does. Anything that's for you is easy as hell. I don't care what nobody says. You don't have to work that hard for it. If it's meant for you to have it, it just comes, it just flows. That's my thought. And yeah, so the point of me telling you this, or talking about this episode, is just understanding that you don't lose yourself when life changes. You evolve. And sometimes your dreams don't disappear, they just show up differently. If you're listening to me now, which you probably are, if you're feeling torn between who you were and who you're becoming, I want you to know that both of them are valid. That's a valid spot to be in. I find myself in that spot. I won't say often, but yeah, every transition, I find myself torn between where I was at and where I'm trying to go. And I say, don't sit too long in between trying to go back. Go ahead and jump into that where you're becoming, because becoming is like, that means you're leveling up. That's my cue that I'm leveling up. So both of those versions are valid, but just don't stay too much longer into where you were. But before I close this episode, I do want to ask something. What version of yourself are you becoming right now? I'm currently becoming something else too. I'm going through a transition, but that's not for today. But I want you guys to think about that. What version of yourself are you becoming right now? And, let me know in the comments. Soon I'm going to have my number open for y'all to call me and text me. But yeah, I want y'all to think on that. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I'll catch y'all on the next episode.
You are now tuned in to the Mile Highlighter.